everyone, and welcome back to the series From Ashes to a New Beginning, written by yours truly, Stacey Holt. Artwork was by Pastelkittygoreart on Instagram, otherwise known as Maddie Kitty 1997 on DeviantArt. I'll leave her links below. I highly recommend you go check out her artwork. I'll also leave everyone that is collaborating within this chapter, which are Adrian and Cat Noir will be voiced by Shane. I'll be voicing Marinette, Ladybug, and the narrator, and Luka will be voiced by Keaton. Now, Chapter 21, Dinner Date.
So, dinner?
Luka smiled.
Sure.
Adrian smiled sheepishly. Was this Luka Coffane? The Luka Coffane from high school? No way. No way was this him. He couldn't be. Yeah, Adrian was a model, but Luka? He looked way more mature and grown up than Adrian. How was he intimidated by him? If anything, Adrian was way more intimidated by Luka. This was bad. Has Marinette seen Luka since the breakup? If she hasn't, would she change her mind about dating him and go for Luka? If she didn't go for Luka, she would be crazy. Luka was the nicest person in the world, and now he was hot. Like, he could appreciate a guy's appearance. Ugh, this was supposed to make him feel better, not worse.
You alright, Adrian?
Luka asked.
Yeah, just hungry.
He smiled.
Where to then?
Luka smiled, getting into the car with Adrian. Adrian started driving, and they started looking for a restaurant to eat at. They finally found one not too far away and parked. They were seated not too long after, which wasn't surprising after the waiter saw Adrian with Luka.
Still the young, famous model as ever. Right, Agrest?
Luka laughed.
Yeah.
He laughed nervously. Adrian sat down in the seat, and Luka right after him, both taking hold of their menus. They gazed over the items in silence, Adrian still feeling a little intimidated and awkward. The waiter took their drink order and soon disappeared.
So, I heard that you'll be taking over the Agrest brand.
Luka smiled, setting his menu down. Adrian sat his menu down and smiled nervously while nodding.
That's great news.
Luka laughed.
How's the business?
Good.
The waiter walked over and took Luka and Adrian's order. The waiter then walked away with their menus, leaving their drinks on the table.
I saw Marinette works there now. How is she doing?
He said, stirring his drink with his straw while he watched the ice clink against the glass.
Yeah. She came in one day, we got her set up in the system, we helped her into her studio, but she didn't have any studio equipment, so...
He trailed off, seeing Luka's expression. Luka was confused and rather intrigued.
Did you help her get the job?
He smiled.
Well, kinda, yeah. She asked.
He smiled sheepishly.
Adrian, have you seen Kagami lately?
Luka asked, cutting Adrian off.
Huh? Kagami? Well, kinda. She works there as well, but I don't talk to her. Why? Has something happened?
Adrian frowned worriedly.
Not to my knowledge. I just knew back in high school you two dated. I didn't know how that went. There were rumors the famous fashion model was dating someone, but didn't know if it was true or not.
Luka laughed. Was Luka wondering if Adrian was dating Marinette? Or was Adrian just letting things run away in his mind again? Was Luka trying to see if Marinette was single or taken? If that was the case, he had to shut that down real quick.
We dated, but things didn't work out. I am seeing someone, actually.
Adrian said, taking hold of his beverage and taking a sip to fill in the silence.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Marinette and I decided to remain friends as well. So, who are you dating then?
Luka rubbed the back of his neck and smiled awkwardly, almost as if he were embarrassed.
Oh, I thought you liked her. Did something happen?
Adrian said, sitting down his drink nonchalantly. He tried to get the conversation off of who he was dating. Luka sighed and remained quiet for a few seconds, causing Adrian to look up at Luka.
We had different viewpoints of things,
he said simply. Adrian was about to ask him to go further into what he meant, but the waiter had set their food down in front of them. Casual small talk about how the food tasted, as well as how the restaurant looked, went on until the check was delivered. The waiter sat the check down in front of Luka, and Adrian tried to grab it from him, but Luka rolled his eyes.
Sorry, Shorty, but the waiter said I was top.
Luka winked, causing Adrian to groan with a slight blush and admit defeat over the check.
You'll get me next time.
Luka laughed, laying his debit card on the check and handing it to the waiter.
Alright.
Adrian laughed.
Next time.
Luka pulled out his phone and frowned, making Adrian wonder what was wrong.
What's the matter?
Adrian asked.
I was going to invite you inside to play the keyboard while I played the guitar, but Rose and Julika are there now. They have work early in the morning.
Luka said, putting his phone away.
Rose and Julika live with you?
Adrian asked.
Yeah, Julika moved in with me to see how she liked living on her own since she's almost done with college. Rose moved in because they're dating, and I didn't have a problem with it.
Luka smiled.
Haven't talked to them in forever, it seems like.
Adrian smiled, reliving childhood memories.
Yeah, time flies. Oh, about earlier, with Kagami, you should talk to her. At one point she tried to reach out to me, but I had my own issues with Marinette that I was dealing with and couldn't exactly be there for her. She was going through a lot. You should reach out and see how she's doing.
Luka said, patting him on the back, and started walking out of the restaurant after collecting his card back. Adrian sighed and walked out of the restaurant with Luka. He drove him home and then proceeded to return to his own home. Adrian walked into his bedroom and noticed all of the lights were off except for the exception of the light beside his bed and the TV across from his bed. He walked over to his bed and saw Marinette asleep with her homework spread across it in a jumbled mess. He chuckled lightly, seeing her sleeping soundly on her stomach. Adrian saw Plag fly out of his jacket pocket, and he nodded to him silently as he started to collect her homework for her. About 30 minutes went by. Adrian yawned and looked down at his phone from the little table. He saw that it was getting pretty late, so he decided to go to sleep. He changed into his pajamas and took his shirt off for the night. He walked over to the bed and noticed that Marinette must have gotten uncomfortable sleeping on her stomach without any blankets, because she was now under the blankets facing away from his side of the bed. He slowly walked over to his bed, swallowing nervously as he looked down at Marinette, internally wondering if it really was alright to sleep beside her. He had never slept beside her as Adrian before. He would admit this was a little awkward, but at least she was asleep, so he could be embarrassed and take his time in peace. He turned the TV off and the side table lamp, noticing Plag was already asleep beside Marinette. He would admit it was extremely cute. He lifted the blankets over Marinette and laid them over top of her carefully, making sure not to wake her. He crawled into bed and lay down on his side, facing toward Marinette, though her back was facing him. As the blanket fell on top of her, he held his breath, seeing her roll over toward his side, still remaining on her side. His face lit up bright red and he swallowed, seeing the dark, shadowy details of Marinette's face in the dark. He mentally had to remind himself that she was his girlfriend and how old he was. He shouldn't be this nervous. Cat Noir wouldn't be this nervous. So why was Adrian this nervous? How was this any different? Though she wasn't as clear as she would be as Cat Noir's night vision, he could still make out enough detail of her face to see her eyes, nose, hair, and lips. Adrian smiled, his face still bright pink as he lifted his hand to gently stroke her cheek. As his fingers touched her skin, he noticed her eyes opening and looking right at him.
I'm so sorry.
He slung his hand away from her face, his face turning more red, and he could feel his face burning as she let out a soft giggle. What are you doing? She laughed, seeing him flustered. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, you can go check out some of my other videos, like Thunderstorms, which is Season 1, Downpour, which is Season 2 of Thunderstorms, The Butterfly That Brought Us Together, and so on. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!